Good morning. I'm Charles Osgood, and this is Sunday Morning, Easter Sunday morning. For hundreds of millions of Christians around the world, this is a day of awe, commemorating the central miracle of their religion, an empty tomb, empty because he who had been laid out in it 3 days before, on this day, rose up from the dead. For half the faithful, however, the awe and joy of this and other holy days are mixed with questions about their place in the family of the church. That is because half the faithful are women. Our cover story this morning will be reported by Jacqueline Adams.
For almost 2,000 years, the Catholic Church has excluded women from the priesthood. That tradition has eroded many people's faith. Increasingly, however, the church hierarchy has begun to share power, to let women perform more and more of the tasks previously assigned only to men. Later, on Sunday morning, we'll explore why this change is occurring and whether it's happening quickly enough.
Where the Star of David is the symbol of faith, another momentous event of long ago is being remembered this week, the exodus from Egypt of an enslaved people. That exodus was not Marc Chagall's subject explicitly, but joy and freedom were his subjects, as Richard Threlkeld will show us later in the course of a glorious visit to a painted world. With Terrence Smith, we will visit not a world, but a city founded in the year 1519.
Nearly 40 years, Havana has been a city frozen in time. Its remarkable colonial and 20th century architecture largely neglected by the cash-strapped Cuban government. Now, preservationists here and in the United States are trying to arrest the decay. This Sunday morning, we'll take a look at Havana, its rich past, its troubled present, and its uncertain future.
Don't unpack your bags. From Havana, we will go to a country of Indochina called Thailand these days, but known once upon a time as Siam. The trip will not take as long as you imagine. A Broadway revival of The King and I provides us with a shortcut to Siam. John Leonard will be along in a little bit with some thoughts on an important actor of our time. We will have a talk later on with CBS News correspondent Jim Stewart in Washington about an astonishing arrest of last week. Some of the letters you have written to us, and a look at sports and the weather, and a milepost by which to remember the week. All to come after the headlines for this Sunday morning, the 7th of April. In Montana today, in the very small town of Jordan, negotiations are continuing between the FBI and members of the hold-up band that calls itself the Freemen. There seems to be some hope that the holiday may move the Freemen peacefully to end the standoff in which they've been involved. But as we say, that is just a hope. And then elsewhere in Montana, other agents of the FBI are searching a very small space very carefully. That very small space is the single room long occupied by the man arrested last week on suspicion of being the so-called Unabomber. Randall Pinkston describes the man's cabin and his life.
In Theodore Kaczynski's one-room cabin, there are 2 small windows and 1 door. The door has 3 locks. The closest picture yet of the home of the man the FBI believes to be the Unabomber. By week's end, the dogged search for proof, for hard evidence, yielded another potentially significant discovery, an unexploded bomb. It was defused. A typewriter was found here, too, the same one, say officials, used by the Unabomber. Kaczynski was reclusive, but he also traveled. In Helena, hotel owner Jack McCabe has printed registration cards dating back 16 years.
How often did Kaczynski come here?
It varied. Some years you'd come, you'd be here maybe 4 or 5 times a year. And other years it'd be once.
Matching Kaczynski's travel to bombs may be difficult. Where did he go from here? Can authorities prove he mailed any bombs? Can they place him at the scene of any explosions? Perhaps the little cabin in the woods may yield the answers. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, Helena, Montana.
33 Americans arrived home yesterday from Bosnia in flag-draped coffins. Secretary of Commerce Ron Brown and those who were killed with him in a plane crash last week were eulogized by President Clinton and saluted with guns. And in Rome, at St. Peter's Square, Pope John Paul II celebrated Easter Mass.
Creator vesti omnipotens Deus, et dimissis omnibus peccatis vestris, perducat nos in Iesus Christus, ad vitam aeternam. Indulgentiam, absolutionem et remissionem, omnium peccatorum vestrorum, spatium vere et fructuose penitentiae.
If he were here, he'd be amazed at the company that bears his name. It's been 65 years of steady growth, but the values remain the same. Treating the customer with respect and as a friend, knowing the products and saying yes, yes we can. That's George Morland. That's why we're the king. Growing together, it's people and it's pride. We're a team that's winning. Growing together, we've climbed to number one. George Morland. But that's just the beginning.
We sent him the first balanced budget in a generation. He vetoed it. We're going to veto Bill Clinton.
The facts. The president proposes a balanced budget protecting Medicare, education, the environment. But Dole is voting no. The president cuts taxes for 40 million Americans. Dole votes no. The president bans assault weapons, demands work for welfare while protecting kids. Dole says no to the Clinton plans. It's time to say yes to the Clinton plans. Yes to America's families.
Hi, at Dennis's 7Ds, we specialize in Japanese maples. This is my favorite. It's the weeping Japanese maple. Weeps all the way to the ground. Spectacular accent plant. This is the Sangu Kaku coral bark maple. Plant in a well-drained soil if possible for all the maples. We have both the upright and the weeping form on sale at $9.97, and all the maples are 20% off the regular price. For more information, contact one of our Oregon certified professionals.
Dennis's 7Days Garden Centers will keep you growing.
In sports, the $1 million Santa Anita Derby, an upset yesterday. 10-1 shot Cavalier with Chris McCarron up was running fifth and trapped in traffic. But on the final turn, broke free, shifted into high gear, and proceeded to pass everybody. Coming down the stretch, he took the lead and kept it.
Cavalier takes command on the extreme outside. Ali Robbie is flying, and down the stretch they come. Cavalier digging in. Cavalier gonna win it by a length and 3/4.
Cavalier wins the Santa Anita Derby by a length and a half. Pro soccer is being given another try. A new league, which will go by the name of Major League Soccer, had its first game last night in San Jose. The San Jose Clash playing Washington United. Not a goal was scored for 87 minutes, although Eric Winalda of the Clash came close on that play. And it was Winalda, a member of the U.S. World Cup teams in 1990 and 94, who finally did put the ball in the goal for the only score of the game. Besides these two, the other teams in the new league are the Columbus Crew, the Dallas Burn, the Colorado Rapids, the Kansas City Wiz, the LA Galaxy, the New England Revolution, the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars, and the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Now then, I hope you have ear flaps on your Easter bonnet. From the Midwest to the Northeast coast, it will feel more like Christmas today than Easter. Temperatures will not rise higher than the 30s in those parts today, cooler than it ought to be in the Southeast, too, by perhaps 10 degrees or so. Out west, however, this will be a warm Easter Sunday, readings in the 70s and 80s, and even in Central California, the 90s. As for the weather, pity the poor Northeast. Here it is Easter Sunday, and the forecast features snow along the coast. That snow will be mixed with rain and mostly will not stick. But inland and at higher elevations, 2 to 5 inches of it may come down and may stay put on the ground, too, with more falling into the night. Thunderstorms across southern Florida and light showers here and there around Missouri and eastern Montana. Elsewhere, however, this ought to be a dry and brilliant day, the first of 2, actually. Except for the Northeast. We'll return to the Northeast in a moment. Tomorrow looks quite fine nearly everywhere, really. Just a little rain across the Tennessee Valley. and some cloud cover over the high plains and a few scattered showers along the northwest coast. Sunny and warm otherwise, as a rule. In the northeast, however, we did say we'd come back to the northeast, you will have to locate your snow shovels. More heavy, wet snow will fall all across New England and upstate New York. And then where snow isn't falling, the rest of the east will be gray and rainy. April, the poet said, is the cruelest month. He was right. Last week, Bosnia, which has claimed so many lives already, claimed 33 more. This time, the lives lost were American lives. Ron Brown, this country's Secretary of Commerce,